talent plus passion. It has to be both, or you have to have some kind of a, how would I say, the drive to go for your passion. You can't just say I'm passionate and you may not be the best writer or you may not be a great artist, but you have passion. Then you may not have the talent. So I think it comes with talent. It comes with it's both. It's a combination of both.
Magic formula of really working hard at your passion and being able
I think hard work though is a guaranteed part of life. If you want to succeed in anything, hard work is the most important thing. As they say, 99% is perspiration and 1% is inspiration.
aspiration, yeah.
Inspiration. So so I think that it's the most important thing, regardless of what you do, is to not have these delusions. You should know what you're good at. It's important to know yourself. It's important to know what your goals are. Is your goal to be financially independent? Because you have to work accordingly. You may have a passion, you may try it out, you may give yourself a certain time, and then you may move on to other things. Or something around that field. Or try and hone yourself in such a way so that you can be better at that field. And I think one of the most important goals for women is definitely financial independence.
I agree with Konkana about this. I think, it's very easy to say I'm passionate about writing or I'm passionate about making films, but it's not easy. It does not give you paycheck right away. It does not, it does not give you financial independence right away. So you have to do something other than that, to continue with your passion. That's my, see, when I was in the States, it's very difficult. I mean, I knew what I wanted to do from right one. I knew I wanted to be a filmmaker, and I studied and I worked at it. In the States, you have to do something else because I don't have a millionaire father there who's given me a house in Beverly Hills. I have to work, and I have to work in that industry and keep doing what I want to do. That is to make, not direct. It was a little long journey, so I ran and came back to Bombay. But that's the whole thing for a lot of women here who want to, go into this kind of, passion journey. You have to keep that, where is the money coming for the rent and where is the money coming for the, next electricity bill. So you have to keep balance between both of the worlds. Passion is, keep at it, don't let it go, but, keep working work within the industry. I know writers who are working in a studio to kind of make the ends meet, but they continue writing their scripts and they continue going and meeting directors, and that's how I think is the way to go forward.
There's also this issue, particularly for women, of being able to be relevant through their life changes. I mean, through marriage, through motherhood, and very often it happens that one or both of these tends to derail them to some extent, and there is often a struggle to get back to the ramp, so to speak, and there are issues also like post-motherhood for a lot of women, at least in India, of being shafted at the workplace, so there is this sort of dilution of their identity that happens, and there's this there's this conflict and a lot of angst, and so I just wanted to know how relevant is it for in all professions, this kind of struggle. So can you just talk about that, Konkana?
Well, I think that we all have different identities, and we don't have just one identity, right? I mean, we have so many different identities that collate to form, our personality or who we are as a human being. That's how I feel. So we have our own, my many identities are: I'm an Indian, I'm a woman, I'm a mother, I'm an actor. I may or may not be religious. Whatever it is, we all have these different identities, right? And I feel that that there is so much pressure on us from, especially when we have kids. I read a very interesting article about women who were in the IITs and IIMs in the 1980s and where they are today. So they're as qualified as the men, but they did this follow-up for these women, and they found that most of them had you know, they had children in there. By the time they were in the 30s, most of them had children and they had to switch. So most of them either were running their own business from home or they had set up something else on their own. Whereas the men who had, studied there were flourishing in that particular line in their business. They didn't have to actually, they didn't get derailed, as you said. Of course, the first thing to identify is whether you want to work or not. Because, of course, that is a choice and you're free to exercise that choice. A lot of people don't have that choice. A lot of women have to work. They may not have the luxury of that choice. And I think it is important to work because I think that, you know, that identity of being a working woman, of being financially independent, I think that is a very important part of our identity. Not only for our own self-esteem, but also how other people relate to us. I feel really proud that I am, you know, a working mother to my son. I think it's really important for my son to see a strong, independent working woman like I saw my mother, you know.
I think I read something yesterday which from a corporate setup or in my field. I can only speak about my field because this is what I have. Even I'm sure you guys will speak. There is discrimination everywhere. It starts in the house. It's not in the field really per se. It's in the house. You know, you're discriminated in your house. Girl, you're a girl, so you do the dishes. You know, it's always like that. You know, so I think in my field it is a little bit. It's difficult for any filmmaker. Period. It's man or a woman. It's difficult to make a film. But yes, as a woman filmmakers, as women filmmakers, all of us have a certain tendency to tell women-oriented stories. At least I do. I like my main protagonist to be a woman because I identify with her. So it was about say 6-7 years ago. It was difficult because there were filmmakers, there were producers who we would go to and they'll say, "What? ये कैसे हो सकता है? ये तो नहीं बनाएंगे." So you know, I've heard things like, "आप इसको ना लड़का बना दीजिए." Okay, so that was the perception. Of course, things take time to change. I think it does not happen overnight. Nothing happens overnight. Look at it now. You know, there are women. Women are the heroes. There are a lot of films that are coming out, and I think those things will, you know, in the personal spaces also that will happen as time goes by. As you said, working mothers give the daughters are more independent and the sons are more understanding. So I think it comes that, you know, now as the generations are coming, the women are working, they are doing more things, just not sitting at home. So I think it's all changing. Should we through this one? Questions? Would anybody like to ask? I mean, I want more of you to participate in this. So, yeah, the lady in the white jacket.
I'm in the HR field. I've done my master's in psychology, followed by HR from the US. But I'm still not happy with what I'm doing. I enjoy my work. I want to work. Again, I have 2 daughters now. But passion is what you're talking about. What is passion? How would I identify that? I'm still struggling. I'm HR, I'm psychology, so I've done a lot of tests. I've gone through a lot of shrink, reads, everything. But what is passion?
Hello. Okay, so here goes. I did undergrad in computer science, but I knew I wanted to do film, so I continued working. This is my definition of passion. I knew that my parents would not allow me to go to America with film. They'll say, what the hell? So they sent me, I pretended to do computer science. I did my undergrad in computer science, but there's a thing called a minor in America. I did theater as my minor. I continued doing film courses. And then I went on to do my master's. I got into one of the prestigious schools. And I said, now I'm getting even some scholarship. You have to let me go. So they saw the journey that I wanted to do this. Though I said I have computer science, I can do a computer science job. But that is I think that's the thing in your stomach, that this is what I want to do. Yes, I have to sustain myself, but I want to continue. I think that's passion for me.